For this lecture, I'm going to be talking about organizing data into percentiles and quartiles. But first of all, I want to talk about percentages. Imagine we have a data set like this, very simple, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I could ask you a question like, how many numbers are even? Well, it's pretty obvious. The 2 and the 4 are even. But we could make that into a percentage. A percentage is basically the number of things meeting the characteristic of interest divided by the total number of observations times 100. So that might sound kind of weird, but let me show you this. The characteristic of interest is even. There are 2 even numbers divided by 5 total observations. So 2 divided by 5 times 100 is 40. We could say that 40% of the numbers in this data set are even, and that would be a percentage. Now, a percentile is a value below which a certain percentage of the observations lie. So let me show you what that means. Here's a longer data set. It goes from 2, 2, 3, all the way up to 11, 12. Now, I could ask you, what is a percentile ranking of 10? So we have 10, and basically I want to know what percentage of scores lie below that. So all these things that I have here in blue are scores that are below 10. So for the question of what is percentile ranking of 10, we can use this equation. The percentile ranking of any value is equal to the number of values below that value divided by the total number of values in the set times 100. So there are 16 blue numbers below 10, and there are 20 total numbers. So 16 divided by 10 times 100 is 80%. The percentile rank of the value 10 is 80% because 80% of the scores lie below it. So now we can kind of work backwards. What value exists at the percentile ranking of 25%? So we're asking basically what score has 25% of the scores below it. So we can use this equation to find out what value number is basically the percentile divided by 100s multiplied by the sample size plus 1. So we're interested in the 25th percentile, so I do 25 divided by 100 times 20 plus 1 because we have 20 scores. And when I work all that out, I get a value of 5.25. But that doesn't really make any sense. I mean, there could be a 5th value or a 6th value, but there is no 5.25th value. So if you end up with something like that that isn't a whole number, you can just take the average of, in this case, the 5th and the 6th. And whatever that average is, that is what exists at the 25th percentile. So my 5th number is 5 and my 6th number is 5. So the average of those two numbers, the mean of those two numbers is obviously 5. So for the question, what value exists at the percentile ranking of 25%, the answer is 5. Now one more quick thing, quartiles is pretty simple. Imagine you have your data organized into a line like this. 25% represents the first quartile, 50% represents the second quartile, and 75% represents the third quartile. So if anyone is talking about quartiles, that's really what they're talking about. They're just talking about these 3 different percentile rankings. And that's it for this lecture. Understand what percentiles are, what quartiles are, and what percentages are.